What is going on, guys? My name is Talan, and this is my buddy Jason. And today I am coming to you from my son's bedroom. Jason, you're in Laguna, right? Chilling?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, we have a good one for you. So today's topics, somewhat controversial, not as controversial as some of our previous episode, but first one of the day, screen time. But more specifically, do you agree with your child having an iPad at the age of, let's say, 2 years old? And if you agree or disagree, how will you handle it, or how do you handle it?
That's a great question. So I don't think that a kid at 2 years old should have an iPad. However, I think that it's okay to have screen time once in a while. I think it's really important to be hands-on and to interact with your kids. And I think, if they're utilizing the screen time for something that's like learning, I think that's one thing. But, one thing that I see so many people doing is where they're just literally giving their kid the iPad, and it's just kind of like, here, take this. And it's kind of, you just do your thing. And they end up just utilizing that as that crutch. And that's kind of just the go-to versus being hands-on and actually, being there with your kid and spending that time with them. So I am fine with Delilah having, the iPad or a phone, if it's as long as you're utilizing it for like learning and different things like that. But for them just to have it and kind of just use it whenever they want, absolutely not.
So random question. So how would you feel about like cell phones, right? You brought up cell phones. Like, at what age would you give Delilah a cell phone?
Delilah is not going to get a smartphone until she can afford it herself. When she's younger, she's going to have, we'll give her some forms of communication. She'll be able to have like a flip phone or stuff like that. But I really believe, there's great things that come out of phones and technology, but I also believe there's a lot of negativity that can come out of it if it's not properly managed. And I think, she's got to be in a responsible state before she can have one.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Well,
what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So my thoughts are, so it's funny. So I'll answer the question. So my thoughts are that a child at the age of 2 should have their own iPad, but I think we agree in some regards, right? But I think they should have their own iPad. And it's interesting because before the pandemic and before I, was a parent, I used to watch parents that would give their kids iPads like a crutch, right? Like at dinner, or like, just like, hey, shut up, go in the corner, watch your YouTube videos and do your thing. And it was easy, I think, to judge. But as I become a parent, especially being around my son so much during this pandemic, I found myself giving my kid his iPad. And I have to be 100% honest, I've used it as a crutch a couple times during this time. And I feel guilty about it, though. I think one thing that I'm learning as a parent is trying to be more disciplined. So it's something I'm trying to learn and consistent. But again, like with you, what you said, in regards to like learning, I've seen some really great apps you can find that are safe for kids and great for learning, in terms of like speech. I don't know how much your son or your daughter struggles with it, but my son's not necessarily struggling with it, but he's definitely not at the same, let's call it, par as other kids that he's friends with, for sure. So trying to help him a little bit more with that. And
do you see your son becoming like reliant? Like, is he manipulating you guys to get it like whenever he wants?
Well, that's a great question. It's becoming that. So now we find ourselves in this very difficult predicament where we're like, hey, it's a pandemic and dad's got to work and mom's got to work on some stuff. And we're like, here, and he'll wake up in the morning and it's like his first thing he wants to grab. So now we're having to kind of take a step back and say, okay, you need to only have this, when we go on a road trip or when we travel, or like, we're researching it now. Like, some people believe that your kid should do chores, like clean up their toys before they have access to the iPad or whatever it is. So we're kind of in the middle of it. To be honest, we kind of created our own little monster without intentionally doing it. So yeah.
I think so. We disagree. You believe your child should have an iPad at 2. I think that they shouldn't. I think that, they can borrow mom and dad's for the time being. It's a good topic, though.
Yeah, it's a good topic. So the next one is actually what we like to call good cop, bad cop. I think a lot of our parents did it where like one is the more disciplinary, upset at the kid, like, kind of like puts them in timeout or, sets the discipline. And the other one's more like, hey, it's okay. You did a good job. And I think it's interesting. This question's interesting for a reason, because one, some parents do this intentionally. There's a good cop and a bad cop. They've decided prior to, becoming a parent to do this. Some parents, actually most parents, fall into this without even intentionally wanting to, where one kind of becomes more disciplinary than the other, and the other one kind of is, more softer, right? I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm curious, how do you guys, so the question is, do you guys have good cop, bad cop in your household? And if you don't, how do kind of you handle just parenting decisions, discipline, just all the above when it comes to like being a cohesive team?
Great question. I do not agree with good cop, bad cop. I definitely believe the parents should be on the same page, 100%. However, we have fallen into the place where good cop, bad cop is coming to play. I definitely thought I was going to be more of the disciplinary, but after having a daughter, it's definitely fallen into more of Ashley's wheelhouse. I'm the Disneyland dad, and just want to, make her happy, make her smile. But when we do discipline Delilah, we do get on the same page. We both agree with timeout. We both believe, if she wants to cry, she's got to go to her room. She can cry up there. Can't cry, downstairs. She can have her own space if she needs to. The good cop, bad cop has happened in our household, but I believe the parents should be equal, because it creates a sense of communication that we're on the same page and we have boundaries and we have expectations. So it's important that we support one another, but the role of good cop, bad cop has happened, and I think our goals, and hopefully as Delilah gets older, we're both going to kind of meet in the middle. But as she's younger right now, Ashley's definitely plays more of the authoritative figure.
So yours was like, you guys kind of discussed this prior, maybe not like before she was born, but like as she was growing up, you guys were like kind of made some decisions to like, you guys didn't fall into it. You guys were decided this, correct?
Yeah, we did, because we believe in discipline. We believe discipline is very important, but it's also, again, I think it's different for if you have it'll be interesting to find out from you, because
yeah.
you're
So
gonna have those.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I think like initially this is going to be an interesting answer. Do I believe in good cop, bad cop? No. But my wife and I have fallen into good cop, bad cop. And to be honest, I thought I was going to be the bad cop, she'd be the good cop. And I find my wife being more the bad cop and me being more the good cop. We're still figuring it out. Honestly, it's something we talked about the other day. It's figuring out like whatever we decide to do, whether it's one's more disciplined than the other, or I decide to conform to her form of discipline. Like mine's more like put you in timeout, you're in trouble, you did something wrong. Hers is more like sit down and have a full discussion with our 2-year-old son about what he did was wrong. And to me, it seems a little weird because I'm like, this 2-year-old has no idea, but maybe he does. Maybe she's right. And so for now, I'm kind of like following her lead. So right now, although I disagree with good cop, bad cop, we have fallen into it. We are actively doing it, but I hope to get to a point as he gets older to have more of a unified approach. Yeah, I think the key here is just consistency, right? Like whatever your parenting style is, it's like, I know that, I think my parents, I love you, mom and dad, were a little bit inconsistent, right? And it can just cause a little bit of like confusion, like what is right and what is wrong. And at least,
100%.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm going to say that I have to disagree, but even though I disagree, I fell into it. I'm doing good cop, bad cop. So
Talan, both you and I agree that there should not be good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, we both agree. And I think that like I said, every parent has to find their own kind of way through this thing. We're open to suggestions. Let us know how you feel in the comments below. Do you agree with good cop, bad cop? Are you finding yourself falling into good cop, bad cop? Like this video, subscribe. It's up here, down here. I don't know.
Yep.
Jason, good to talk to
Yeah,
you.
hey, you too, bro. But hey, guys, also let us know about screen time. We'd love to hear about what you guys do for that. We'll be back next week.
Good point. All right, brother. I'll see you later.